The Division 2 is super grindy. You got your watch, you got to get it to level 1000. You have to find yourself those exotics and gear to create your builds. You have to recalibrate and optimize, which requires tons of resources. And let's not even talk about that expertise system. On top of that, you have the season rewards track. You have global events that give you red stars. And you even have apparel events. But don't you worry, I have your back with this all new XP farm build for year 6, season 1. Hey, so the new apparel event just went live and it's super grindy. You gotta level up your character 4 times before you get a single key. There's 4 outfits. Each outfit has about 4 or 5 items, give or take. So you're talking over 100 levels to complete this apparel event. That aside, if you're looking to level up your character, gain more resources, and get the best gear in the game, then I got a build for you, an all new one using rifles that's gonna help you level up super fast. The idea of an XP farm build is to be able to run heroic content with all directives and have it feel like child's play, because you're looking to clear a lot of content per hour and you don't want those directives slowing you down. If they are, then it can be counterproductive. And so when I put together these XP farm builds, I think of all the directives we currently have and can potentially have in coming seasons. So let's get into the details and I'll show you what this build can do. Okay, so this is an M1A classic one-shot kill heroic 5 directive XP farm build. With it, you're gonna be able to level up quickly, get massive loot, and unlock all of those rewards, whether it's the apparel event or the rewards track if you're working on it. You can also use this to level up your watch and get more resources. I have this configured for solo PvE XP farming, keep that in mind. As far as the pieces go, they will still work for group play, but the secondary attributes you'd probably want to remix into crits. This one's built all into headshot damage, and that's because we're going to be able to chain kill heroic elites with all directives using body shots using the M1A Classic. So basically, we're turning our M1A Classic, a very strong rifle that's actually easy to use if you're going for body shots, into a sniper. And what's the advantage of doing that? Well, one is ammo. So we have ammo hoarders, and sometimes we have pistolero, and those put constraints on your weapons. Especially high RPM weapons will really struggle with ammo, which means you're gonna have to resort to your pistol or secondary weapons sometimes. But with this build, you don't have to worry about that, because rifles come with a lot of ammo, and you only need 1 bullet to kill. So I've made a version of this build in the past, but this current build is only possible with the new gear that the devs gave us this season, which is making the M1A rifle super strong enough to snipe. The other good thing about one-shot killing with the M1A is the crosshairs. So if you try to move around a lot with a sniper, or you try to run and gun with a sniper, it's very difficult. It's possible, I do it, but those crosshairs stay open really wide, and you can have a target 2 feet away from you and you will miss even when going for center mass. But with rifles, it's way easier because your crosshairs don't open as wide and they close way faster. And you can also equip a shield with your rifle. So I am gonna have 2 versions of this build for you, and there's only gonna be a minor difference between the 2 depending on your experience as well as your gameplay style. So you're gonna wanna run sharpshooter. The reason why is that does give you access to the TAC 50, which is extremely helpful to use from time to time, but it also gives you more headshot damage, which you're gonna want every ounce of damage you can get to get this build to work. And it also gives you some stability and target acquisition, and it's going to regenerate ammo for your rifle and snipers when you're playing from cover. All very useful things. Okay, let's look at the M1A. So you don't have to run the digital scope, but if you're playing from cover, then you might as well. It's got really nice crosshairs and it's got a super zoom on it as well. I personally prefer the 8x scope, which gives me 30% headshot damage with no downside. It's very easy to use, but I'm faster with this and I can play more on the go with it. So if you're gonna be scooting and shooting a lot, then this is probably the one for you. However, if you're new to the game and you need more power because maybe you don't have the ability to add any expertise on your weapon, or you don't have the optimized stats, then that extra 15% headshot damage is going to be for you. And there's really no downside of this digital scope. You're very effective playing from cover with this weapon. You can clear an entire control point from a single location. As far as the weapon, I do have 12% expertise. I totally recommend adding that, or just add as much as you can. It's it's going to help you achieve your one-shot kill capabilities faster. We'll get into the mechanics in a moment. I got rifle damage, crit damage, damage to targets out of cover, got a 2.1 second reload, and then determined. After killing an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on any enemy will be a guaranteed headshot. This is what allows you to chain kill using body shots. For mods, I'm using the reload speed mod and a +5 rounds, and I have the decadent skin. For the secondary weapon, I'm using the Nemesis. I totally recommend this, or a very strong sniper otherwise. The Model 700 is very strong. It's the strongest outside of the Nemesis, so you might want to run that one. You're not going to be using it a lot. You're going to use it to kick off the fight, but it's also fun to switch to it from time to time. My Nemesis has 20 expertise. You don't need 20 expertise, but the more you have on your Nemesis, the better. Totally recommend damage to targets out of cover or damage to armor, and this gives you crazy damage figures. But you're going to use this weapon to kick off the fight. I'll show the mechanics in a little bit, but once you have TAC 50 ammo, you can also use that. To make sure we have the strongest rifle out there, we are using Breaking Point, 2 pieces, which is giving us 25% rifle damage, and that marksman rifle damage is also helpful. Again, because we're using our marksman to kick off the fight. Weapon damage and headshot damage, that's going to be your formula here. Here's the second piece, weapon damage and headshot damage on the holster. The knee pads are 1 piece of Overlord, which is giving us 10% more rifle damage, and we have weapon damage, damage to targets out of cover, and headshot damage. The gloves, I'm running the Eagle's Grasp. You don't really need a ton of weapon handling. However, the reload speed isn't that great on the M1A, and this does help you snipe a little bit too, but the weapon swapping is also helpful. You're not going to need any other stats, so you might as well take the weapon handling. The greater mag is actually nice, and we're getting 20% rifle damage too. Everything is coming in play here. Bigger mag means more chain killing without having to reload. The chest piece is our second piece of the Zoo brand set. This is new, of course. And we have handling and headshot damage, and then headhunter. So 1,250% of your last headshot killing blow is the damage cap that this delivers, as long as you have 150% headshot damage on your rifle. I have 205% headshot damage using the 8x scope. If you use the digital scope, you'll have 220% headshot damage. As far as weapon handling, we are showing 23 on the board. Stay tuned for the mechanics. You're going to want to know those. Otherwise, you're going to wonder why the build's not working for you. The backpack I decided to run is the Memento. You don't need expertise on this at all. I have 3 cores, I have headshot damage, and then it's giving us buffs. When you got 30 trophies collected, which you get on kill, that's going to give you 30% weapon damage the enemies can't take away from you. So really nice, unless you're dead. And then you get 10% bonus armor per blue core, and we have 1 blue core, so that's a little bit helpful. But when you have 30 trophies again, you're going to have 3% armor regen, and then we also have skill efficiency. I'm mostly using this for the armor regen and the steady backpack damage, so I don't have to rely on vigilance. But those trophies stack, so if you are moving around a bit and you grab one of those trophies, it's going to give you a 30% weapon damage boost on top of the 30% weapon damage from 30 trophies that are stacked. And you can continue to stack, so you go 30, 60, 90, so on and so forth. It's crazy how high this damage can get. But this is one configuration. I'm going to show you another one as well, because some of you might need more damage on your build. Okay, for skills, you can run whatever you want, but just think about cool skills. So hives really suck right now with that directive, and you want to try to run all 5 directives if you can. I thought about putting some armor on kill on this build, which you could do by running gunner, but you don't really need it because the rifle is so easy to use. You're killing so fast, and you have your shield, and you're able to do a lot from cover. Even if you're moving around a lot, you're just not taking that much damage. Let's talk about Headhunter and Determined mechanics for those of you that don't use this a lot. So I do have all 5 directives here on. What you're going to want to do is you want to start off with your stronger sniper. So either the TAC 50 once you get ammo, which you'll have after the first control point, or your Nemesis. In my case, I'm using the Nemesis. So you want to start out with this. Now, but keep in mind, I don't have any Memento trophies here. So either way, I get my 1 kill. That was not a crit, but it was enough to kill an elite. So then I can switch over to my rifle. What happens is, because of the Headhunter chest piece talent, that sticks with the build, not the weapon. So it's going to transfer that damage to my rifle at 1,250%. Again, as long as we have 150% headshot damage. Now let's take that shot. And we got a kill. Now that happened to be a crit, so it probably worked to my advantage. Let's do it again. There we go, 9.823. That's a better look at it. So notice there's just a sliver of health left on this guy. I mean, just barely anything. So I'm just short of one-shot killing him. that's not gonna bother me. And that's because I don't have any memento trophies. So you're gonna get your first kill, grab that memento trophy, and then you're fine from there. That first trophy is gonna give you 31% more weapon damage. The expertise isn't absolutely required, but the more expertise that you have, then the less memento trophies you need before you start being consistent with your chain killing. With 12 expertise on my rifle, which is a weapon that is most sensitive, so after a couple of trophies, you'll be rock steady. For those of you who don't have optimal gear, meaning like your rolls aren't god rolled like all my gear is and stuff like that, or you don't have any expertise. So here's an alternate build if you require more damage or if you're always playing from cover. This build is just fine, and many of you might even think it's better than the one with the memento trophy. Well, it's definitely stronger. It just doesn't have any regen, and vigilance can be disabled, but for most of the time, you don't really care if vigilance is disabled because Headhunter, once it's activated, doesn't need vigilance or any of the damage on your build. So all the multiplicative damage on this build is only required for your first shot kill, and then after that, it doesn't really matter. So what I did is I moved a couple of things around. So we no longer have the Eagle's Grasp. We're now running the Contractor's Gloves. And we're running that for the damage to armor multiplier plus headshot damage and weapon damage. Do that, and then for the backpack, I moved the Zoo second piece to the backpack, so we still get our mag size and rifle damage. Mine's not god rolled here, and that's fine. We have weapon damage, handling, and headshot damage as you would expect. But now, instead of the memento stuff, we have vigilance, and that's giving us total weapon damage by 25%, which this can be disabled for 4 seconds. Keep that in mind. Everything else is the same, so I didn't change anything else on the build. But what that's gonna do is make your weapons so much stronger that they're less sensitive to expertise or other modifiers in the game. We do have Ragers, which means your enemies are going to be stronger on kill from time to time. And so if your build is sensitive to that because you don't have optimal gear, then this build will be better for you. It's just gonna ignore all of that. So one shot kill there, as you would expect, and then boom, we're way over the limit there, way over. So, and you can body shot chain kill. We're hitting at 13 million. So that's, 3.5 million or so beyond what we actually need. And so you could just chain kill. It doesn't care about Ragers because Ragers is not going to up these guys by 3 million. This is way easier to use than a sniper, and it gives you much more ammo. And if you've been around in this game for a while, then you know that ammo hoarders or even pistolero is tough on snipers. And so this is going to make you a lot faster, give you a ton more survivability than if you run a sniper build. But I love my hotshot sniper build. Don't get me wrong. But the rifle builds are better for directives in my opinion. So this is how you turn on directives. Go to your map, go to global settings, change global directives. Ammo hoarders, you gotta be careful. Every time you reload, it's gonna steal the ammo that's remaining in your mag, and you can't carry all the ammo you're normally carrying. So you can run out of ammo if you're always reloading. So make sure you run your mag to dry before you reload as much as possible. You have cool skills, you have Fog of War, Fragile Armor, which does glitch from time to time, and then Ragers, which makes enemies stronger, whatever. So this build will work for any of this content and really handy against any of the factions, even those that carry a lot of helmets, because if you have to throw out an extra couple of shots because an enemy is coming at you with a strong helmet, then the rifle does that really well. So even if without the Nemesis, it's only gonna take 2 shots to kill an elite. I mean, that's pretty impressive right there alone. Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is Tuxedo Bandido, and this was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.
I get it.